In the silent, ever-expanding theater of orbital defense, a new kind of threat emerges. Not lasers. Not guided missiles. Something far more fundamental. The Pentagon, we are told, is shifting its focus, exploring the weaponization of pure physics itself. A silent, unseen force, waiting above. But what could this mean? What kind of power could be unleashed without a single explosion, without a flash of light, yet deliver devastation on an unimaginable scale? The answer lies not in complex payloads, but in raw, unadulterated kinetic energy. For decades, it remained a whisper in classified circles, a concept almost too audacious to be real. Project Thor. The very name evokes mythological power. It speaks of a hammer, brought down from the heavens. Now, this concept, once relegated to theoretical papers and speculative briefings, is experiencing a modern resurgence. As orbital defense networks expand, the underlying principle of Project Thor is being revisited, re-evaluated, and perhaps re-engineered for a new era. What was once science fiction, inches closer to a frightening reality. At its core, Project Thor is terrifyingly simple. No explosives are needed. No complex warheads. Just mass, accelerated to extreme velocities. Imagine an object dropped from outer space, from the vacuum of orbit, gaining speed with every mile it falls. Gravity, in this context, becomes the ultimate accelerant. It's the weaponization of Newton's laws. The sheer energy of impact, derived solely from velocity and mass, is what defines its destructive potential. A clean hit. But clean does not mean benign. Far from it. It means pure, unadulterated force. The chosen medium for this immense kinetic energy? Hyperdense tungsten rods. Tungsten. Not steel, not titanium, but tungsten. Why? Because density is paramount. The heavier, the smaller, the more concentrated the mass, the greater the impact force at extreme velocities. These aren't small projectiles. We're talking about rods designed to punch through hardened targets. Their composition is crucial, a key component in a weapon system that bypasses traditional defenses. This choice of material underscores the intent, overwhelming destructive power through sheer physical presence. Consider the speed. These hyperdense rods are designed to travel at Mach 10. 10 times the speed of sound. Imagine the sheer, raw power of an object hurtling towards its target at such an incredible velocity. It's faster than any conventional interceptor, leaving mere seconds, perhaps less, for any potential defense to react. This isn't just fast, it's practically unstoppable. The air itself becomes a weapon, compressing, heating, and adding to the destructive force. Mach 10 isn't just a number, it's a statement of absolute, overwhelming speed. The delivery mechanism is as crucial as the projectile itself. Orbiting satellites. Not just a single satellite, but a network. An expanding web of orbital defense platforms capable of deploying these rods from outer space. This architecture allows for global reach, swift deployment, and a persistent presence. The idea is to have these kinetic warheads positioned, ready, silently circling the Earth, awaiting a command. It's not about launching from the ground, it's about dropping from the sky. The ultimate high ground, weaponized. And here lies the most chilling aspect. These kinetic rods hit with the force of a tactical nuclear strike. Without using any explosives. Imagine that. The devastation of a localized nuclear weapon, minus the radioactive fallout, the long-term contamination, the ethical quagmire of radiation. It's a clean, devastating blow, precisely targeted. This distinction changes everything. It blurs the lines between conventional and strategic warfare, offering a new category of weapon that promises immense destructive power without the same geopolitical consequences of deploying a nuclear arsenal. A terrifying proposition. This pure physics approach presents a direct challenge to established defense strategies. Traditional bunkers, designed to withstand blast waves, and conventional penetrators, may simply become obsolete. The sheer kinetic energy, delivered at Mach 10, is designed to bypass or outright destroy even hardened underground facilities. It's not about an explosion on the surface, it's about a kinetic penetrator through the surface. A direct, surgical, and utterly destructive blow that renders layers of concrete and steel irrelevant. What then becomes a safe haven? The implications for global strategy are profound. A weapon capable of such precision and power, deployed from space, redefines first strike capability. What happens to deterrence when a nation can deliver devastating blows without crossing the nuclear threshold? It introduces a new layer of ambiguity, a new escalatory ladder. The threat of kinetic bombardment forces a complete re-evaluation of defense postures, alliance commitments, and the very concept of strategic stability. The game changes. But how? Detecting an object re-entering the atmosphere at Mach 10 is one challenge. Intercepting it is another entirely. The speed leaves minimal time for reaction. A blip on a radar screen, then impact. The sheer velocity makes it incredibly difficult for existing anti-ballistic missile systems, designed for different threats, to react effectively. This weapon system prioritizes speed and raw force over stealth or sophisticated maneuvering, making it a nearly impossible target to counter once deployed. How do you defend against something that moves faster than thought? An expanding network of orbital defense systems is central to this vision. Satellites positioned strategically around the globe ensure that almost any point on Earth can be targeted within minutes, not hours or days. This global reach eliminates geographical barriers and reduces the time needed to deploy a strike. From outer space, the world becomes a chessboard where every square is exposed. The implications for nations without their own robust space capabilities are particularly stark, facing a potential threat from above that they cannot hope to match. This weaponization of pure physics presents a cold, hard calculus. It offers a way to deliver devastating force without the irreversible consequences of nuclear war. This might make it easier to consider deployment, lowering the threshold for engagement in extreme scenarios. The psychological impact alone, knowing that such a force hovers above, unseen, yet ready, is a potent deterrent. Or, perhaps, an irresistible temptation. How does one respond to such a precise, overwhelming strike? The choices become stark, brutal, and immediate. The expansion of orbital defense networks isn't just about communication or reconnaissance anymore. It's about control. Control of the ultimate high ground. This renewed interest in kinetic bombardment signals a new phase in the militarization of space. Nations will undoubtedly scramble to develop their own countermeasures, their own orbital platforms, their own versions of Project Thor. A new space race, not for exploration, but for dominance. And this race could lead to unimaginable consequences, pushing humanity closer to a perpetual state of orbital tension. Building and maintaining an array of orbiting satellites, equipped with hyperdense tungsten rods, is not a trivial undertaking. The financial and logistical investment would be astronomical. But if the capability offers strategic advantages that rewrite the rules of global power, then the cost might be deemed acceptable. What price tag do you put on ultimate deterrence, or ultimate offensive capability? The numbers involved would likely dwarf many conventional defense budgets, diverting resources to this silent, space-based threat. The sheer expense is staggering. The very mention of classified concepts like Project Thor underscores the veil of secrecy surrounding such endeavors. This isn't public policy debate. It's the realm of black projects, hidden budgets, and top-secret intelligence. The lack of transparency amplifies the intrigue and the fear. What else is being developed? What technologies are already operational, silently orbiting above us? The unknown is often more frightening than the known. And with Project Thor, the public is largely unaware of the true extent of this potential threat, existing in the shadows of national security. Let's be clear about the distinction. A kinetic rod strike, while devastating, is not nuclear. It lacks the lingering, indiscriminate effects of radiation. This is a critical point. A nuclear weapon causes widespread, long-term contamination, rendering vast areas uninhabitable. Kinetic bombardment focuses its energy, leaving behind a crater and immense physical destruction, but no radioactive footprint. It's targeted violence versus existential threat. But does this cleaner destruction make it more palatable? Does it make it more likely to be used? A terrifying ethical tightrope. Imagine a hunter that operates from beyond the clouds, unseen, unheard until the very last moment. That is the essence of kinetic bombardment. There are no missile trails arching into the sky from the ground, no visible launch preparations. Just a silent, almost invisible descent from orbit, culminating in an impact of catastrophic proportions. It's a weapon that minimizes warning, maximizing shock and awe. The very silence of its approach is perhaps its most unsettling attribute, a ghost in the machine of modern warfare, delivering pure, brute force from above. If Project Thor represents the vanguard of weaponized physics, what else might lie beyond? The Pentagon's exploration of pure physics hints at a broader, deeper commitment to understanding and manipulating fundamental forces for military advantage. What other concepts are being considered? Directed energy? Gravitational manipulation? The possibilities, however theoretical, are endless and unsettling. Project Thor might just be the tip of an iceberg, a glimpse into a future where the laws of nature themselves become instruments of war. The implications are truly profound. Officially, details remain scarce. The very nature of Project Thor being a classified concept means public statements are few and far between. Yet, the persistent whispers and the undeniable expansion of orbital defense networks confirm that such avenues are being actively explored. The Pentagon is exploring, the brief states, the weaponization of pure physics. This isn't hypothetical anymore, it's a strategic imperative. The silence from official channels only deepens the mystery and underscores the seriousness with which this potential capability is being considered. What they aren't saying speaks volumes. The expansion of orbital defense networks, combined with the exploration of kinetic bombardment, paints a chilling picture of future warfare. A conflict fought not just on land, sea, or air, but from the silent, unforgiving vacuum of space. The rules of engagement, the thresholds of conflict, the very definition of a weapon are all being rewritten. This isn't merely an evolution of existing armaments, it's a paradigm shift. A new era where the simple act of dropping an object can unleash devastation once reserved for nuclear arsenals. Are we truly prepared for this new reality? So, the kinetic rod's threat is not just a theoretical concept from a bygone era, it is the frightening reality of the present and near future. The Pentagon's exploration into weaponizing pure physics, as orbital defense networks expand, is actively pursuing this classified concept. Project Thor, with its hyperdense tungsten rods, dropped from orbiting satellites, traveling at Mach 10, delivering the force of a tactical nuclear strike without explosives, renders traditional bunkers obsolete. This is not a distant possibility. This is happening. A silent, devastating force, poised above us all, ready to redefine conflict forever. The hammer of Thor, from the heavens, without thunder.